Today we're at Spring Meadow, the home of Proven Winners ColorChoice Shrubs. I'm going to take you a walk through the various gardens here and show you so many beautiful shrubs that are blooming right now. It is mid-July. We are a zone 6A as far as our hardiness zone here in West Michigan. And I always think it's fun to go walking through these gardens to see what do these shrubs look like when they're in their full mature size. So let's go ahead and take a walk through the gardens. Here we have a beautiful Calycanthus, also known as a sweet shrub, and it's called Aphrodite. Aphrodite is a pretty large shrub, reaching up to 12 foot tall and 12 foot wide. It likes to be grown in full sun to part sun locations. It's a perfect plant for big gardens or even back of gardens if you're looking for something just to kind of fill in nicely. These beautiful burgundy blooms are fragrant and they bloom nearly all summer long. This great variety is deer resistant, so if you have deer that tend to browse through the garden, you can enjoy this dreamy, airy Calycanthus Aphrodite in your garden without the worry of the deer browsing. This here is the pufferfish hydrangea, which is a panicle hydrangea. This particular hydrangea blooms off of the new season's growth. So if you want to trim it in the fall or in the early spring, neither of those trimmings are going to affect these gorgeous summer blooms. Pufferfish gets 3 to 5 foot tall and 3 to 5 foot wide and is very cold tolerant. Hardy down to zone 3 and up to zone 8. These beautiful blooms make excellent cut flowers. One thing to note with pufferfish is the flower color transition goes from this lime green to this beautiful white. This particular panicle hydrangea does not get any shades of the pink like a lot of the other panicle hydrangeas on the market. They're nice, big, bold flowers, and at the very tips is a cute little tuft that sets them apart. I love the tropical look of the Rosa Sharon hibiscus. This is a STARBLAST chiffon with its beautiful white blooms and deep magenta veining. These are a double blooming flower, so you can see there in the center, there's kind of a little ruffly center going on, which really makes for a very large looking bloom size. STARBLAST chiffon is hardy in zones 5 to 9 and can get 8 to 12 foot tall, so a nice tall Rosa Sharon, and only about 5 to 8 foot wide. So this is going to have more of a upright columnar habit as this plant matures. It attracts the butterflies, the hummingbirds, and the bees to the garden. So if you're looking for a shrub that not only is beautiful but also attracts the pollinators, Rosa Sharon does just that. And another great attribute of the STARBLAST chiffon is that it is a deer resistant shrub variety. These bloom off of the new growth, so they can be trimmed in the fall or in the early season and still bloom reliably throughout the summer. This here is a new plant introduction. It's Leucothoe dog hobble. This one is called PAISLEY PUP. This is a native shrub variety from Maine down to Georgia, and it's one of the most graceful broadleaf evergreens for planting in a part shade location. So I know a lot of us have been looking for more options for more of the shadier or part shadier spots in our garden. And this is a great evergreen that has a lot of variation of color on it. The colors range from pinks to greens to creams to whites to bronzes to yellows. There's just going to be a lot of range of colors on these gorgeous shrubs. They have fragrant white bell-shaped flowers in April to June, so gorgeous early season flowering interest. It does grow best though in a moist, well-drained location, and if you have acidic soil, this is just the plant for you. They get 3 to 4 foot tall, 4 to 5 foot wide, and are hardy in zones 5 to 8. It attracts the pollinators, makes an excellent cut foliage plant, and is deer resistant. Steady Eddie, a double file viburnum, is one of the longest viburnums that we'll see out in these gardens today. It likes to be planted in full sun to part sun locations and attracts the pollinators and is deer resistant. You can see the habit of this plant here in the garden. It's a little bit shorter and wide. At maturity though, it can get 4 to 5 foot tall and 4 to 5 foot wide and is hardy in zones 5 to 8. It has these gorgeous kind of lace cap looking hydrangea flowers, although it's not a hydrangea at all. These are indeed viburnum blooms, but you might mistake this for a hydrangea flower if you didn't know any better. Steady Edddy is known for its color throughout the summer, which is not typical of most viburnum varieties. Here's another fun new introduction. This is an Arborvitae, also known as a Thuya, and this one is called Whip It Good. Look at that. Isn't that just a funky, fun looking Arborvitae? It's really not very typical of what you would probably come to expect when looking at Arborvitaes. Whip It Good is hardy in zones 3 to 7. So for our customers that are in a cooler climate, this is definitely a very cold, hardy evergreen plant. It likes to be grown in full sun to part sun locations, and it can get 3 to 5 foot tall and wide when it's mature. So this one here is still just a little bit of a baby because it's only about 3 foot by about 2 foot tall here in this garden today. With its blooms just starting to emerge here mid-July, here we have a grouping of 3 of the little lime punch hydrangeas. So these are still a little bit young as well, not to their full potential of 3 to 5 foot. These here are about 3 foot tall right now, so they're on the smaller end of their size spectrum. Little Lime Punch is a panicle hydrangea that blooms off of the new growth. So these can be trimmed in the fall or in the spring with a reliable guarantee of blooms in the season that you're heading into. Little Lime Punch starts off with very lime green flowers like we're seeing here today. And those flowers, as they age, they turn more white. And then as the summer progresses, they take on a gorgeous magenta pink bloom. So this is a fun one to watch as it transitions from midsummer into the fall with its gorgeous range of colors. This makes an excellent cut flower, nice sturdy stems, beautiful big blooms, and just adds so much beautiful interest to the garden. I know a lot of people are scared of hydrangeas because they've tried them before and they find that, you know, they say they don't bloom reliably for them. Well, one thing I can assure you is with the panicle hydrangeas, or also known as a hardy hydrangea, this is going to be one of the most guaranteed blooming hydrangeas in all of the hydrangea families. Here's a plant I haven't talked about before. This here is the Vitex called Rock Steady. Look at those beautiful long purple blooms. This plant here is a pollinator's dream. Not only is it a pollinator's dream, it also is a deer resistant shrub variety. Vitex is also known as chase tree. This particular variety is hardy in zones 5 to 9 and can get 4 to 12 foot tall and 4 to 5 foot wide. So as it matures, it's going to be more of a columnar habit shrub. So if you're looking for something to kind of tuck in your garden that gives you more of an upright presence opposed to a spreading presence, this Vitex Rock Steady will do that. This is also, as I mentioned, a great plant for the pollinators. I'm trying to find a bee. They've been buzzing all around, but of course when you're doing a video, they never show up. But this is a great plant for the bees and also the butterflies as well. It's a midsummer bloomer, and it's heat and drought tolerant as well. Here they have it paired with some barberry, and doesn't that add just a cool look of color with the foliage and the flower interest. What is it that I love about the Pugster butterfly bush? It's their compact size and the amount of blooms. So Pugster butterfly bush comes in several different colors, pinks and whites and purples and various shades within. But the thing is they only get about 2 foot tall and 2 foot wide, creating a gorgeous compact mound. So these are great foundation plants for around your house. You can just poke them in your garden like a perennial, and look at all of those gorgeous purple blooms. So the Pugster butterfly bush, they obviously attract butterflies to the garden, but they also attract hummingbirds and pollinators as well. And when you're walking through the garden, the butterfly bush just adds such a sweet scent that it's so inviting when you're in the garden and having these butterfly bush to want to just keep circling back around and seeing them again just to get that nice scent. Rosa Sharon are a great long summer blooming shrub. Usually they'll start blooming around the beginning of July or so here in West Michigan. This one here is the lavender chiffon. And I mean, look at this gorgeous plant. It's just starting to bloom, so we're just starting to see a little bit of flower color going on. But as we look up and down the stems, you'll notice how they are just loaded with buds. So this plant's just starting, but you can see there is so much more potential for color that's going to go on as the summer continues. This is a great plant for your full sun gardens, fairly drought tolerant once it's established. And typically the deer will stay away from a Rosa Sharon, but as we say with anything, no plant is 100% deer proof. If they're hungry, they could eat anything they want. But I love the Rosa Sharon because they just add kind of a nice tropical feel in the garden. And there's a lot of colors available. There's whites and pinks and reds and just blues and all your favorite kind of colors for the garden. And what sets the chiffon series apart is those double flowers. You'll see that there's kind of that little ruffly center there, and that's what you could come to expect from the chiffon series of Rosa Sharon. Here's one of my personal favorite butterfly bush. This here is the Pugster Amethyst. You can see it's got that nice compact habit, 2 foot tall, 2 foot wide. A lot of intense color coming from these plants. Hardying zones 5 to 9. The thing is a lot of times with butterfly bush, they have a lot of flowers and they're really small, which is fine. But personally, I love these huge flowers on these Pugster butterfly bush. I mean, each flower is about 3 or 4 inches across by 6, 8 inches wide. So although they don't have the tons of flowers like some of the old traditional butterfly bush, the bigness or the size of these flowers just really make even more of a statement, I think, than the smaller flower forms. And fragrant. Oh, as I'm standing here, these plants are so fragrant. The butterflies love them as well. And it's one of those butterfly bush you can't go wrong with the size. It fits in a landscape or it fits in a perennial garden. So even if you just have, a little space, this is a perfect size butterfly bush for small space gardenings. One of my favorite panicle hydrangeas are the Firelight hydrangea, and when we're at my garden at home, I talk about the Firelight hydrangea a lot, especially when it gets to be about mid-August or so and the blooms turn the bright, intense magenta pink. I think one thing a lot of times when people are looking at the Firelight hydrangea, they see those gorgeous photos with it in its fall color. So they sometimes think, my plant bloomed and it didn't bloom pink, it bloomed white. Well, that is what's going to happen. So the Firelight hydrangea does start off with these gorgeous pink panicle blooms. And then as the summer goes on, these blooms turn to that bright fire engine red. So be patient with the Firelight hydrangea. It's going to turn color. It's going to get that gorgeous deep pink color. And I guess I should say, that's if you live in Michigan or more towards the north, because I understand my friends in the south go more from a white to a brown. So if you're a little bit more in those northern climates, you're going to see those really rich red and pink tones on the Firelight hydrangea as the summer progresses. Another great specimen of a plant that is mostly planted for its foliage interest is the black lace elderberry. Now, black lace elderberry does get the white flowers with a little bit of a pink tinge to them. But right now where we're at in the season here in July, the flowers have already done their thing, and that's kind of a spent bloom. But it's this foliage that is so outstanding. I call this the poor man's Japanese maple. Just because it definitely has kind of that look of a Japanese maple with those skinny serrated leaves, nice dark foliage. And you can see here, this plant does get pretty big in size. Oh, I think we're about at 8 foot or so here in this particular planting. But if you're looking to add the dark foliage into the mix of your garden, that just has, again, that nice airy feel to it, like we saw earlier with a smoke bush. This black lace will give you that nice airy feel and the look and kind of vibe of a Japanese maple without it being an actual Japanese maple. So not all plants are about the flowers. A lot of times it's about the foliage as well. And I think this is a great little snippet here in the garden at Spring Meadow Nursery that's showing a lot of variation using foliage plants. So let's take a look at some of the varieties. First, we're going to look at Weigela. This particular one here is VINHO Verde, and this will get nice bright pink flowers on it in the spring. But once summer comes and those flowers are faded, you can see it's got a great bicolor foliage. Nice glossy leaves. It's green with that nice deep burgundy outer edge. So even though this plant's not flowering right now here in the summer, it still adds a lot of really nice interest to this garden bed. Also, we've got the WINECRAFT Gold. This is a smoke bush. And I love the airy feeling of the WINECRAFT Gold. It's just so easy and so breezy. This particular one right now in the garden's probably about 6 or 7 foot tall. I love the chartreuse green foliage. And then you can see the new growth as it emerges has a little bit of burgundy or kind of a light kind of rosy pink to the tips. So that too adds a lot of interest. This plant gets those little poofs of smoke for its flower. It's not flowering right now, but even so, this is just adding a lot of nice texture and motion in this garden just because it does have that light, airy feel to it. A great plant that coordinates with it is the barberry. This is the orange pillar barberry, and just look how vibrant and red they are. I love orange pillar because it has more of that columnar habit. It's just a little bit taller than what it is wide. All of these plants we've looked at here so far have been in this garden for, I think we're going on probably about 3 years or so. So I would say a lot of them are fairly mature in size. This particular one is about 4 foot tall right now and about 2.5 foot wide. And I just love this fire engine reddish orange in the garden bed. And this is a great color to really break up the greens that you see in a garden. And then sitting just behind it is the Ligustrum Good Vibrations. And this here too is a great variegated shrub. It's got the yellow tones to it and then also the greens. So this plant is mostly known just for its foliage interest, and I love the yellow and the green, how it adds so much contrast here in this garden bed today. Compact in its habit is the candy corn Spiraea, and candy corn Spiraea is probably one of our top selling Spireas, and I think it's because of the colors that people really enjoy this plant. Fairly compact, only about 2.5 tall and wide, maybe 3 foot if you let it kind of grow. But what you see with the candy corn Spiraea is the gorgeous new growth on it. It looks like a candy corn. It's got the green foliage, but then that new foliage emerges with a lighter chartreuse, and then the very tips are a bright red. This does also get pink flowers on it earlier in the season, but even when it's not flowering, you can see how that new growth just adds, again, so much interest to this nice, small, compact foundation size plant. Oh So Easy and Fuego Rose has been a highly sought after rose after its introduction in 2025. The Oh So Easy and Fuego features these gorgeous blooms that look like fire. So the newer blooms come out kind of a deep golden yellow with some orange, and as those flowers age, they turn to a really rich, deep orangish red. The thing I like about this plant is when you're looking at it, there's so much color and so much variety going on, just depending on the age of the blooms. Oh So Easy and Fuego is hardy in zones 4 to 9 and gets 3 to 4 foot tall and 3 foot wide. Gorgeous summer blooming, repeat blooming rose, a color that has been a top seller for garden crossings. I know not everybody is looking for those vibrant, intense colors in their hydrangeas. Here we have the BIT Innocent Big Leaf Hydrangea. This one features a soft, subtle pink color. BIT Innocent is hardy in zones 5 to 9 and gets 2 foot tall by 2.5 foot wide. If you want to change the flowers to purple, the purple color too is just going to be a soft and subtle color. So if you're just looking for more of those just easy on the eyes, not so vibrant color blooms, BIT Innocent is a nice soft look. And for our southern gardeners who are into more your tropicals, or it's because your zones are so warm, we have a couple of great choices for you as well. Here we have the Tocoma, also known as a trumpet bush. This is part of the CHICKLET series. This here is CHICKLET Gold. So for those of you who are in the north thinking, Heidi, these plants aren't for me at all, well, that's not entirely true, because these shrubs could make a great thriller in your combination containers for summer interest. They're fast growing and they come to flower quickly, and just look at those gorgeous bell-shaped blooms. You know, when you ever see those bell-shaped blooms, it means one thing, that those hummingbirds are going to be all over this plant. Not only the hummingbirds, but the butterflies and the pollinator bees as well. This is a great native shrub that if you are in those warmer climates of zone 8 to 11, it's going to get 3 to 6 foot tall and 3 to 4 foot wide. It's just long blooming. Essentially, you're going to see these gorgeous flowers all summer long. And what's not to love about a gorgeous yellow in the garden? Now, some of you are going, yellow is not my color, Heidi. Well, guess what? We've got other options for you. How about orange? Are you more into the orange? CHICKLET series also has an orange. This is called CHICKLET Orange. CHICKLET Orange gets 3 to 5 foot tall, 2 to 4 foot wide, and again is hardy in zones 8 to 11. It's got all the same great attributes as CHICKLET Gold, with attracting those hummingbirds, butterflies, and pollinators to the garden. Nothing better than a beautiful big trumpet shaped flower. And one other plant that we thought paired really nicely is this gorgeous red color. So it really looks like a evening sunset here right now in the garden. This is Estrelita scarlet. This is a firecracker bush. And this is another one that is a very long blooming shrub, hardy in zones 8 to 10, 1.5 to 2 foot tall and wide. So a nice compact size shrub. And again, for our friends in the north, this is something you could use in a container for summer interest. It is native as well and has just these gorgeous clumps of these long tubular flowers. Actually, as we were videoing, there's a hummingbird just trying to come in and get a little taste of these blooms, but he's kind of scared off by us right now. So hopefully we can show you him passing by. But if you're looking for something that is a plant that's a sure bet for attracting hummingbirds to the garden, either one of these would make an excellent choice. And we're going to close today with our most sought after shrub this season in 2025, which is the El Niño Chitalpa. This plant has been the one everybody has literally been looking for. Chitalpa is also known as a desert orchid, and El Niño is a sterile variety of Chitalpa, which for those of you who have grown these in the past and maybe have found seedlings everywhere, this is what we would call part of our In Check series, our Proven Winners In Check series, meaning it's sterile and you're not going to find seedlings all over your garden. Chitalpa can get 10 to 15 foot tall and 8 to 10 foot wide. It's hardy in zones 6 to 9. So even those of us here in Michigan should be able to grow this plant. Now, one thing I will mention is for us in Michigan, it probably will die back to the ground. So we'll never get to those full heights that those in the south will get. But these gorgeous lavender blooms are fragrant and are another plant that those hummingbirds are going to enjoy because of those nice tubular flowers. So just if you're looking for something different, maybe you've never heard of a Chitalpa before, this is one that is what all of your peers are wanting in their garden. And I think it's an excellent choice just for a great long blooming shrub variety. How many of you are thinking about El Niño for your garden this coming season? If you have any questions or comments on any of the shrubs that we've seen in today's video, please feel free to leave it in the comments below. If you're new to our channel, I welcome you to subscribe. We're going to try to put links below of some of the various varieties we talked about. So if you're like, you know what, I want more information on that plant, or I need it for my garden, we're going to give you all the details that you'll need on our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. I'm Heidi from Garden Crossings.